for our service members that are listed as unaccounted for from all wars. They took the oath to defend our nation, and they were promised to be brought home and not left on foreign soil. That promise must be upheld. The installation of the POW-MIA Chair of Honor in the Lucas Oil Stadium is a great honor to our POWs, MIAs, and to their families. It will be a beacon to all that see it, to remind them that freedom is not free, and to never forget sacrifice and hardship that our POWs and MIAs have endured in the defense of our freedom, and the sacrifice and hardship that our military service members endure every day in defense of this great nation.
This Chair of Honor being dedicated here today in Lucas Oil Stadium is a way of paying tribute to these selfless individuals and to let them know that they will never be forgotten. And should they ever make their way to Lucas Oil Stadium, they have a Chair of Honor awaiting their return. May it provide a place of peace and tranquility for the many thousands of POWs and MIAs still unaccounted for. And should they be found, let this Chair of Honor become the focal point for many to find some peace while we all await their return. Thank you very much, and God bless America.
What's happened at the funerals, and knowing this from a long time ago, when there's a casualty, when there's a missing person in the home, and then when Rolling Thunder shows up, it adds a little more honor. The family in their grief sit up a little straighter, and they realize this is for our country, that their sacrifice from their family is for their country and for their nation and for their state. You're always there. Like Marines, you're always faithful. So I want to say God bless you and thank you, Rolling Thunder. Thanks a lot.
I would like to paraphrase one of the greatest Americans, in my opinion, Abraham Lincoln. So he said that we are gathered here today to dedicate this Chair of Honor to those prisoners of war and missing in action during the great conflicts of this nation. And it is altogether fitting that we do so. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, and we cannot hallow those men and women, those prisoners of war, those missing in action, have done so far above our poor power to add or to detract. And so with that, I would like to thank those men and women. I would like to say God bless them, God bless you all, and certainly God bless America. Thank you.
In Lawrence since 1903, Fort Benjamin Harrison and the military has trained and sent soldiers to defend our nation and advance the cause of freedom throughout the world. These men and women are our friends, our families, and our heroes. In the city of Lawrence, we revere them. We post banners on light poles when they're deployed in harm's way and wait patiently for them to come home safely. As all of these MIA, POW families waited patiently for their loved ones to come home. We expectantly keep the lights burning for their safe return, their safe and triumphant return. We are free because they answered the call. We are not whole until they are all home. They never forgot us when they answered the call. This chair placed here in honor of them reminds us symbolically that they will never be forgotten in our hearts or in our minds.
I can't take my eyes off the American flag, because when you are in a foreign country and held without your permission, you do a lot of thinking and you do a lot of remembering. And the things that you think about is, I know the system, that you will be not ever forgotten. And that is worth 1,000,000 words when you're laying in a camp someplace. Korea was the most uninviting place in the entire world, 50 degrees below zero. And I look at the welcoming that this chair is getting, knowing that no one will ever have to sit in it. And I look at the flag, and I look at the 7 red stripes and the 6 white stripes and the field of blue. And I just wonder how many people appreciate that to its core. Because the greatest thing in the world is coming home. And don't ever forget it. Thank you very much.
Next, I'd like to introduce our next guest speaker, Mr. Josh Bleill. Josh is the community spokesman for the Indpls Colts and a wounded warrior from the Iraq War. Please welcome Josh Bleill.
I'm a Marine, so I won't use any big words. But it's such an honor to be here. As an employee at the Indianapolis Colts, I thank them for this, but I thank Rolling Thunder, Lucas Oil Stadium. But I actually got a preview of the chair one day in the office. I remember they brought me into the office just to get my opinion, and the tears welled up, as they are today. Because I understand why my road was paved, why I was welcomed home, why I got the good homecoming. Because of the men and women that went before me. And the POWs, our fellow brothers, our MIAs that are still out there. And I hope that others, when they see this chair, have those tears. That they understand the sacrifices that have been made by this country, by the people in this room. I was honored to serve this nation. But I was even more honored to follow in your shoes. To go back and to serve this country with pride because of the traditions. Because coming home was the greatest thing to see that flag. I thank my fellow brothers and sisters that have served. For our POWs and our MIAs, you are constantly in our hearts, and I bow to you. It will never be forgotten. And it is not forgotten in our new generation. We know the sacrifices that have been made. We know how much you've given. But we also know that chair represents more than our POWs and MIAs. It represents the scars that are in our hearts of our fellow brothers that have served, the scars in the families that have missing ones at home. And I just pray for them on a daily basis. And I thank you for this service. For the POWs that have come home that are here today, I tell you, welcome home. For all the men and women that have served, I tell you again how proud and honored I was to follow in those shoes and those traditions. And I just thank you from the bottom of my heart for what that chair represents. What will not be forgotten, I promise you that. I thank you all. I wish you the best in this life. God bless, and Semper Fidelis.
I'd like to introduce Linda Cope and Jim Smith. Linda and Jim are Rolling Thunder Chapter 1 members and sister and brother of Ronald Eugene Smith, which went missing in November 1970 during the Vietnam War. Linda and Jim have been waiting 44 years for their brother to come home. Please welcome Jim and Linda.
Thank you. In 2005, Rolling Thunder found us. They wrapped their caring, their love, and their help around us and gave us validation. I went to the Vietnam Wall the first time with Rolling Thunder Indiana 1. They cry with us, they laugh with us, and they get mad with us. And now, this chair means so much to our family and many more families that have endured the same heartaches. On behalf of my mother Genevieve, my brother Jim, and our entire family, we would like to thank Rolling Thunder Chapter 1 for their efforts in getting the Chair of Honor into the stadium. From the beginning idea, the cover, the platform, and the plaque. We would also like to thank the Colts, Lucas Oil Stadium, Josh Bleill, Larry Hall, Mr. Levengood, and Heidi Malin for giving our POWs and MIAs a place to be honored and not forgotten. This chair is a gift to our family and families in the same turmoil, because you see, it will never end for us.
To our former POWs that are with us here today, we owe you a debt of gratitude for the sacrifice and hardship that you have endured in defense of our freedom. This Chair of Honor will remind people that freedom isn't free. Welcome home. Would our former POWs please rise to be recognized? Thank you very much for this. With the family members that still have loved ones missing, would you please raise your hand if you have a loved one still missing? Yeah, quite a few. To the families of the loved ones that are still missing, the Chair of Honor is for you and your loved one. It symbolizes that there will always be a place in this stadium awaiting their return. We know the words "you will not be forgotten" will be engraved in the hearts and the minds until the day your loved one returns home. Rolling Thunder, Indiana, the Indpls Colts, and the Lucas Oil Stadium is honored to present this Chair of Honor with the hope that one day your loved one and all of our nation POWs and MIAs will be accounted for and return home. Until then, this chair will remain unoccupied. So if you do have loved ones missing, would you please rise to be recognized?